brethren.
Greetings and salutations.
How you doing?
Welcome from my cave. Yeah.
Is it Glenn's cave? Is that what that is?
It's look at it. Look.
Oh my God! I gotta get me one of those.
Notice his cave is only a corner. It's in the corner, boy.
It's a portable cave. It goes wherever I go. That's why.
He says a portable cave.
It's a portable cave. Hater.
I got a cave too.
Oh, you got a cave too? Man, Rob, you guys look refreshed, like y'all just came out of surgery or something. Y'all looking good.
Man, I'm feeling.
I mean, I'm just saying, you look like you know, your face looks really tight. I mean, fresh, shiny. That's all I'm saying. Love you guys. Love you both.
If Glenn Murray comes up missing.
And look, and I have to say, I cannot rock with Glenn on this because the only reason he did not throw me in there with y'all was because I was still local this week. And
that's just because you're sponsoring tonight, so I figured I wouldn't do it. I'd save you tonight.
Whatever reason you didn't include me, I knew was disingenuous. So
next week I'm saving it all for you, though, Shawn. Don't worry. Secrets from the Cave, live at 8:30 Saturdays. Tune in. My own show.
Hey, man, he done broke out with his own little trailers and shows, and you know.
I know, right?
Let him have it.
I'm like,
he ain't got no production approval or nothing. He just, you know.
I don't need production approval. Okay, y'all don't forget who runs this. Okay,
Keisha Rose.
Right. Not you.
Hey, did you all see that his says the youngest in charge? Did you all notice that?
What? That's especially his album. That's the title, especially his album. I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Certain things, Robert, we just don't acknowledge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm
like a wise man once said, "Don't argue with fools because from a distance people can't tell who is who." So I just let the fool Glenn Murray do what he does, and eventually he'll wean himself out.
It's amazing how coherent you are with anesthesia. You can still quote stuff after that. That's great. That is a modern medicine, boy, I tell you. Let's start the show. Introduce our guest, Shawn.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you as usual, if you would be so kind to share the show to your Facebook pages right now. We ask that you guys help us increase our viewership. So we not only want you to enjoy it, but spread the word, share the show. We have the usual suspects. Male Rob, who's out of town, not getting surgery. Rob Hazzard, who's out of the country, not getting surgery. And Glenn, who thinks he's special because he got his fancy high collar shirt on today. And we're so honored to have. Evan has a whole lot of titles. I'm rushing, and so I don't have them. Maybe we'll give him 10 seconds to give his titles. I know he's a writer. Maybe Mel, is it for the Sun-Times?
I believe so.
Yeah, yes. I know he's a staff writer. He's also fraternity brother of Mel and Eyes. Production team, bring in this week's guest, the one, the only, Mr. Evan Moore. Boy, the bass line in that little ditty was doing it.
I know. I'm loving bringing in guests. That was a Keisha Rose idea. I thought it was Roger's, but you know, Roger don't really come up with that.
I didn't have time to Shazam it. I'm like, what song is that?
Yeah, I'm like, wow.
That's royalty free, good brother, so that it doesn't get muted on the pages. It's royalty free.
Yeah. Evan Moore, how you doing, brother?
Oh, good, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate the invite.
Man, thank you for saying yes. You know, you didn't have to do it. So we honored, man, that you would come and share some of the wealth of your intellect with us on a Saturday night. You could be doing anything, you know.
You got a lava lamp or something, Noom, you could turn on? It's a little dark over there.
It's dark.
Yeah, I thought it was your sexy, sultry vibe. I didn't know what you were doing.
Okay, we check it real quick. Hold on.
Mm.
Hey, you got the
If you don't, it's fine, bro. You know, just do your Barry White thing. I was just asking.
Robert, I'm sorry. I'm surprised you're not in some soft light with some Caribbean music playing or something. I'm just shocked.
Well,
hey man,
I wanted to do that, but I didn't want to show you all up.
I really expected Rob to get down there and party so hard that he was gonna be like, man, fuck that cave.
Well, I just left the bar, so I had to.
And you're going back
from
and
the
you're
bar.
done, I'm sure.
You know
Hey,
he's going back.
Hey,
to the bar.
He was like, "Hey y'all, give me an hour. I'll be right back."
I'm going. That's what I said. There you go.
Hey man, well,
drinking water in between.
Let's hop right into it, man. I posted. Well, we won't do that. I was in the grocery store. This is what led to me suggesting this topic. I was in the grocery store in Bronzeville, maybe Monday or so, and everybody's still masked up, moving around or whatever. And I see a lady that I used to work with. She's not of our hue, right? And it doesn't even dawn on me at the time that she's not wearing a mask because I was more preoccupied with the fact that I recognized her, but I couldn't remember her name, right? So I'm like, oh man, I worked with her. What is her name? I started texting people trying to, if I could get it before she got out, I was going to, say hello to her. Hadn't even thought about the fact that her and her daughter were in there. They were the only people in the whole grocery store without masks on. And so when one of my friends finally reached back and correct me on her name, because I was close, she said that she was a big Trump supporter and that she had gotten fired from a job for saying some racist remarks about Mexican people. So then, of course, I was glad that I didn't catch her because I'm like, okay, you're the only one in the grocery store, not respecting the mask mandate, and then it made me start thinking, like I went to her page, saw some, typical, hard left, stuff. And then I started thinking, man, oftentimes an incident will happen and then companies will start to research what your social media, what your digital footprint looks like, after something has happened. But I was curious to know if you guys thought that it would be fair in terms of an employee's onboarding that a company took a look at their social media, and they might. I mean, we don't even know really. You know what I'm saying? I worked in HR, and it's a whole lot of questions they're not supposed to ask you that I get asked all the time. So people do what they want to do, I'm sure. But do you guys think that would be fair for potential employers to take a look at your digital footprint and then decide whether or not, they're going to consider you based on your political standing, let's say, for an example, or maybe you just post something about a controversial subject and they go, that's not a cool position. Do you guys think that's fair if they were to do that, or should they do that?
Well, I mean, in my field, we already have that view of people thinking that we're all, Democrats or liberals or whatever because we're journalists. But in my field, you have to stay, you have to stay neutral. I mean, it's part of the job because what if I was someone who was covering or writing about Trump and I said some nasty things about him? Is him and his people will be right in saying like, hey, I don't think this person will, be fair, even though all the stuff he's done and said over time. So I feel like I've been saying that's kind of something where you have to, be neutral. You have to be objective. But I always tell people like objectivity in our field it's something that it's hard to put in words, but it's not really hard to put in words. It's just more so like, hey, like people, for me, you go to my social media, particularly Twitter, what I'm on and what I'm about. And,
Well, I'm thinking past political stuff too. Like maybe what if the remark is a sexist remark? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not limiting it to the political arena. I
got you.
Yeah, I'm saying anything that could be offensive, to the major population. Do you think it would be fair? Some of the people watching already have said that their belief is that they do that already.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah.
So in the consulting world, this is something that I talk about with HR and management on a regular basis. And Robert, you probably may have the same experience. People want to know if the ideologies of the person they're hiring align with the ideologies of the company. And even if they're not the same, as long as it's not disrespectful, you know what I mean? Like I had one lady who was a big time Democrat and she hired somebody who was a big time Republican, but she said that in the vetting of her, they were able to both have different political views and respect each other as people. It becomes a problem when your ideologies interfere with how you think you can communicate with other people, and if it gives you the right to just say what the hell you want to do or do what the hell you want to do or whatever. And from a sexism standpoint, if somebody is an avid sexist, and you know that that's not the culture you want to create in the environment of your organization, of course it makes sense not to hire that person. Why put them on board and say, well, that's just their social media, that's their business, when they could potentially bring that to work?
Yep. And I guess because it's a platform, they couldn't accuse you of overstepping a bound, right? Could they? Yeah. Is it similar to reading their mail? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, it's social media is, there are parameters for privacy. At the same time, it's a public platform. So could you be held accountable for making a decision based off what you saw in social media?
Yeah, so to Mel's point too, when we consult with people, we have this professional brand, right? We also have a personal brand. And many times and Evan, you probably have seen this too, where we have on our social media handles, these are the views of Robert Hazzard. They are not indicative of the Hazzard group.
Well, we have to say that every week with Glenn because he says something retarded
every week. But we have to be we have to be cognizant of that because Illinois is an at-will state, at hire at will. So you don't really get to pick and choose. This is kind of something that we talked about before. Yeah. You don't really get to pick and choose which brand you want to represent today versus the corporate brand. So it really behooves us to be careful with what we say and who we show up as.
I totally agree with Robert. I think who you support politically is a personal choice, but when you get into sexism, racism, and other things, then that changes the rules. I think the line is blurred because if the media isn't reporting what you want to hear, although they may be reporting the truth, people tend to paint the media as biased. The truth comes out a different way when you want to hear it the way you want to hear it. And that's what you're seeing. And there's a very blurred line between true news, true journalism, and entertainment as well. So people tend to believe the entertainers because the entertainers on certain stations tell them what they want to hear. Then they take that as news because it happens to be on a channel that has news at the end of it, but it's an entertainment show. And a lot of people are getting called for that now as people are getting hauled into court about some things they've said and being sued about them. And you're starting to see that. But as a person, you need to take personal responsibility for how you portray yourself in business and personally. I try to make sure that I'm not posting a lot of things that are political. I just try to stay apolitical when it comes to my post and giving my opinion. Because I have friends on both sides. So I need to make sure of that. I remember 2016 election and some of my authors who, have very strong opinions voiced them. And I remind everybody that Republicans and Democrats buy books. I hate to sound like Michael Jordan, but they do. They do. And you have to remember that you're a public figure. And I always talk about that with authors and people that I work with is you're a public figure. As soon as you decide to put something out there and sell it, you're a public figure. So you have to think about that.
Yeah, that's something that took me a while to get used to because I'm out. I get recognized by random people, and that could be with my daughter, or it happened one time when I was like on a date, and it was like, this is all pre-COVID stuff, but something still happens, in the meantime. But when people, you just have to, I guess, as soon as that happens, you put something out there, like you said, Glenn, like you have to move differently.
You do. Yeah, you do. Look I think about what happened the skiers during the Winter Olympics. Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Ivanka Trump came to congratulate her. This was not a political stunt. They happened to come to the Olympics, and the skier took a picture with them, took a selfie with them because they were like, hey, congratulations and everything. oh my God, the vitriol that she got on Twitter about it, she had to take the picture down. And I'm like, they weren't there discussing taking away her taxes or raising her taxes or anything else. They were there in the capacity that we're fans and we want to congratulate you. If you can't be civil at certain moments to people, regardless of what they're doing and where and what they work in, they didn't come to you with that. They came to you in a way that's humble, and you should be able to receive that. But she got so much hate from doing that until it was just ridiculous. And you may not agree with anything they say, and I get that, but that wasn't the arena to do it in. You have to learn to be civil in certain arenas, regardless of people's beliefs.
A political difference, I think, took on a new meaning in the last 4 years. You know, a political difference has never been as personal as it has since, you know, in the last few years. Now it's a very, very personal, you know, thing. Like, and I'm going to tell you, I really did not like George Bush, but I can't tell you that it was a personal thing with anybody who advocated for him. You know, with this guy, you know, I admit I question your moral fiber. You know, it just has. To me, it's a political difference has taken on an all new light from the Trump era, and so I think it's unfortunate. I do try to still keep it in that wheelhouse, but it's hard, you know, based on what he stands on and what he advocates and how he treated people, and you know, it's hard. And when I come across people that I don't wish them any ill will, but I really don't want to engage you, you know, I know we don't have. I feel like we have some very basic life differences, you know, in terms of the way we look at life itself. So
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so, it's time, Shawn.
Let's.
What is it time for?
You know what it's time for. You know it's time to pivot.
You know what it's time for.
What you already started to piss people off for earlier this week. We need you to go on and continue that energy. You need that same Shawn energy.
Go on and give it to him.
I was going to ask Rob how Cabo was and how many numbers he had.
Don't be trying to get people to piss me off over here.
And on my next Secrets from the Cave, I will be having DM rules for Rob, Mel, and Shawn. I'll be giving you rules on how to engage them on their DMs, what's the best times to contact them, how you should approach them, how they like to be approached. I consider myself kind of a, you know, I'm elevating my wingman business. What I'm doing.
Next time we are in the same vicinity, I'm gonna throat chop you. Because it's hard to talk if you've been punched in the windpipe.
He said, I consider myself. So be clear, nobody else considers him any of these things.
That's right. I'm going back to the pool after this, just so you know.
Oh, we're sure you are, Rob. We're sure you're going back to the pool.
You're probably not wearing pants, Robert.
Well, as long as the nipples are out, nothing else matters. You know that.
You know. Hey, I want to send this next subject toward Evan first. What do you think about the mayor's decision on, you know, reporters of color being the only ones that she sits down with for the rest of her term, or however it went? You falling in that category and being somebody that I would suspect, you know, would benefit from a decision like that. You know, what do you think about it? And what are you hearing that the lay people like us who aren't in that industry can't hear, and that you can tell us? What are you hearing?
Oh man, when I first came across it, I mean, it's something that we know in our field, especially in terms of Black journalists. White journalists tend to believe that when in terms of Black athletes and Black public officials and famous Black people, that we don't go hard on them, that we ask softball questions. And really? Yeah, that's something that's been happening for a long time. I was in sports for a long time, and that was something that pretty much dogs all Black sports writers, you know.
I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah, and the thing is that a lot of folks, like you said, they saw what happened and everything else, and we were cheering. We were like, yeah, okay, this is good, but we questioned Mayor Lightfoot's timing. Yeah, I mean, because you know, like I said, this has been an ongoing issue in journalism circles for a long time. I mean, you saw many white reporters, basically, show their ass. And this is something Mayor Lightfoot only said it out loud. There's been times when I've reached out to public officials and other folks about things, and I don't hear back. I get blown off. But I see them talking, giving an exclusive to a white colleague or someone from from a competitor, and you're kind of like, okay, well, what's that about? And so so to answer your question directly, this is something that needs to happen. But at the same time, a lot of us have questioned Mayor Lightfoot's,
motivation
of this.
Mel, what you think?
I don't care. I'm outside the city limits now. I'm living in the city. No.
Anybody making you pay 7 cents for a bag?
Yeah, basically.
Man, that whole bag thing. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm like Mel. I'm outside of Bronzeville too, so I don't know. But I still I think I know what Mayor Lightfoot is trying to do. She's trying to give equal opportunity to people that are in the media to craft a story so that it will have a further reach.
But couldn't she have done that without announcing it?
Her support among people of color has dwindled, and this is an attempt to reclaim some of those voters.
And it would have been nice if she was speaking up like that when she was on the Citizens Review Board when Rekia Boyd got killed. But that's nice. You want to talk now, but it's like Democrats do stuff so backwards sometimes, and I'm just it's like Republicans would never announce that they're going to do it. They'll just do it. You're in power. Just do it. Do what you want to do. You don't have to do a press release for it. Just do it.
But you do the press release.
More exclusive.
You do the press release to get more press.
Exactly.
No, you did the press release to pander. That was pandering. That wasn't to get more
said out loud what's been going on for decades.
Right.
And
you just said it out loud.
You have a field which is mostly white male and suburban now questioning. Like, hey, what's going on here? And they're saying it's racist. You're like, really?
Right.
It's so it's always been something that's been going on for a long time in our field, and it was something we continue to fight. And she basically, put out there in the public what's been going on for a long time. And the thing that's gotten folks in trouble about this, as they say, we say these days, showing their feet. And in terms of, she only said she was only giving exclusives to Black and brown reporters. She didn't say, I'm not talking to white reporters ever again or not anything else. And people seem to kind of forget that.
But I think that is the culture of, and I hate to use such a strong word, but that is the culture of the oppressor. Whenever the minority takes a stand or is offered something that isn't offered them, then they play victim. You know what I'm saying? So, and this is a low level of that, but it's the same. It's the same thing,
But when you're in power, you can govern and you can use your power in a subtle way to make change.
You don't have to announce your moves. You just
you don't need to hammer all the time. I agree, Mel.
Because think about it like this.
It's a chess game.
Think about it like this. If Haley was in office and he said, "I'm only giving exclusives to white reporters,"
He did that privately.
He did it, but he never announced it. That's the point.
Right. But he didn't announce it.
He did it, but he never said publicly.
Because he understood his power. He understood power and how to use it.
Yeah, I mean, in our field, you see it because I know someone in the chat mentioned Naomi Osaka. And for some of you who don't know, she says she's not the French office. She's not speaking to reporters, and it's kind of similar to what we saw several years ago with Marshawn Lynch. Was another thing, when he didn't want to speak to the press, and a lot of us understood it. But at the same time, some people do feel in our field like, hey, like you should talk to me because I work at ESPN, I work at the Sun Times, I work at the Trib, and no one don't have to talk to you about anything if they don't want to. And that's something I've always, told folks, and that's the thing I'm able to maneuver in different spaces because a lot of people feel like that journalists, some feel like that they have ownership over your story, and it's not your story; it's their story, and you have to be honored when you get to tell when someone allows you to tell their story. And you've seen some of my writing and some of the things I've discussed, and it's like a big schism in our field about media access, and that's why you see, what LeBron is doing with The Interrupted, and you see the Players Tribune. Like, these guys have seen decades of media, to completely destroy or mess up their stories, and they're just like, you know what, we got the money, the power, we're gonna do our own thing, and you're gonna have to get their news from us.
Yeah. Yep. And I commend the players today that are doing that, because they really are taking charge. And I think Deirdre Burgess put it in the comments, people need to use their power without consent. Because using your power and using it the right way is effective. There's no power in, like Mel said, in announcing every move.
But I'm sure it was just because he has such a compelling personality. I'm sure that Marshawn did not expect that thing to turn into what it turned into.
I don't think Marshawn gave a damn, honestly.
I'm just saying that it ended up being something that helped catapult him into a media darling, because in actuality, he has a really, really cool personality. He's a really, really good dude. He's a really, really giving guy. But at that point in time, he was pissed. He was mad, and he wasn't talking to them. And so when you peel his layers back and you find out that he is such an endearing dude, it just made it even more comical that he would sit there and say that, and it made you like him more. He's one of the few NFL players I follow on Instagram. I'm fascinated by him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a very interesting dude, but he sat there and was like, y'all know why I'm here. I'm here so and I really want to drink tonight before we move on, because I don't see anybody totaling anything. I got my ginger beer, and I'm drinking Conor McGregor's Proper 12.
Proper 12, how is it?
It's very good. I had it in Sacramento, and I was like, okay, I got to get it when I get home.
Yeah, even though I don't care for Conor McGregor, I kind of wanted to try the Proper 12 though.
And he whoop ass though. I mean, he got his ass whooped the last.
Yeah,
but he be whooping ass though. So
when John Jones comes out with a whiskey, then I'll drink it.
I'm
drinking.
Too.
Yeah, I'm drinking Mexican water. So
Mexican water
out of that bottle.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
Mexican water. It's good.
You gotta hydrate from all the work being done. It's the hydration.
I started a little bit of a conflict.
A little bit.
Today on
I thought it blew up
on Instagram, and I'm going to read my post verbatim. It says, "I'm always fascinated by the posts by single women promoting how fine they are, because history shows men commit to the man that provides them peace and stability." And you see a lot of
women. Men commit to the woman that provides them.
Commit to the women. Yeah, thank you. Provides them peace and stability. Because I see so many of these. And don't get me wrong, I love beautiful women, and I love to see beautiful women celebrate themselves. But sometimes they present like that's all they have to offer. And I go, why would you want to put that message out there? That's something that's a short tone. Kennery just posted rut roll, like, it's piss somebody off. That's such a short-term benefit. Like I always say, you can probably bet that if I ever get married, she's gonna be an attractive lady, but it will be
when you get married.
Okay, but it will be the least of what she offers. You know what I'm saying? And I see so many women on social media, and you would think that that's all they have to offer. And for some that might be, for some that just might be how they choose to present themselves. But I always find that fascinating because, I hate to put it like this, but men will lay down the pretty one. That doesn't mean they're gonna wife the pretty one. You know what I'm saying? So what? Hey, hey man, I'm single. I'm like male. I ain't worried about who I piss off.
Really.
But like Rod said, men want peace. So tell me what you think about that, Glenn.
Oh, why we gotta come to me first? Why we always come to me first for the stuff that
let's go to.
Why are you sweating, Glenn? I can see the beads of sweat on you.
I'm not sweating. It's hot. My light is hot. That's all. I ain't scared.
I bet it is hot where you at.
So, what was the question?
You know what the question was.
Oh my God.
So women put more focus on their looks than
I'm saying
on their personality. Is that what you're saying, Shawn?
No, I'm not saying that. That's a universal affirmative, and I would never do that. What I'm saying is, I see a lot of posts on social media where women are only promoting their physical.
Their looks. Oh, so the ones that like hold the camera on like the Facebook stories and just do like this?
Yeah,
That annoys me. That annoys the hell out of me. You just play some music and you show each side of your face for like 5 minutes. No post, nothing else. With the duck lips annoying me too. Yeah, that's that too. I mean, y'all need to stop that. That is not.
You're still avoiding the question, Glenn.
I was just giving my opinion.
Yeah, you didn't.
So women want peace too. I think women want peace as well.
You just saw Deidre Burgess say that. I want your answer.
I agree with Deidre. I can't agree with her.
What the peace women want.
Let's move on because he's not gonna answer, bro.
Yeah, I'm doing a male.
Well, how about you, Total Gent?
So I mean,
with your biceps all juicy in the camera.
Here's my thing, right? If you lead with looks, I'm praying that you are not the type of person that plays the big joker first, right? And what I mean by that is,
you got nothing else.
If these are the cards that are in your hand, and that's what you're leading with, this gonna be a short voyage.
That's my point. I appreciate you framing it better than I could. That's what I'm saying.
But I don't think they're doing that on purpose.
No, Glenn, you didn't want to answer this. You don't want to answer this. Don't jump in.
I'm gonna get my point across. You can go and finish. I'm gonna let you finish.
Go ahead, little boy. I'm
gonna let you finish.
Little boy.
I'm gonna let you finish.
But yeah, so that's the thing though, right? So if that's your thing and that's what you're banking on, or you're presenting that as if this should be enough, or this is what I bring to it, or I ain't got to put up with this because I'm fine. Well, it's not a shortage of fine. Right. So what else you got besides that? You know what I'm saying?
Mine is gonna keep somebody engaged for a very short time.
But no, what they're doing is putting it out there because they think that's what we want. They think that's what men want. So they lead with the card that they think is going to get the most attention.
Here's the thing. I don't think there's any evidence that men want that. I think that
really
hear me out. I think that everybody knows that men like attractive women. Everybody knows that if you're sitting in a bar and an attractive, shapely woman gets up and walks by, all the men are going to stop drinking they drink and turn and take a look. But I don't think there's any evidence that says men tend to give the long haul to the women because she's attractive.
But when's the last time you looked at a Shanae and thought, "Ooh, I really want to get to know her. I really want to know what she's thinking. I want to know what's on her mind and what kind of person she is."
I get that. I've also walked away from many attractive women.
No, that's true. And you have to know there has to be something behind the picture. I get it, but I understand what women are doing. It's the same reason why we put on all them damn suits and took pictures, because we knew the women were going to like them. We get more views. Okay, let's not fool ourselves. Okay. Let's be honest with all of it, y'all. It's sales.
That was a secret that we were just talking among the men.
Oh, I'm sorry. I let it go.
Yeah, I mean, but I did. Mel looked good. You look good. Shawn looked good when we did those pictures, man. I thought we were the new edition, revised.
More like old ass edition. old edition, right?
Yeah, maybe the old edition, Rob.
Yeah, but let's look at it this way: that I think that when we look at beautiful women, of course we love beautiful women. I think that there's a limited scope of years that beauty is going to reside. For me, I want something more than just the outward beauty. I want the internal beauty, as well as a great conversation.
Yeah, I'm not saying we're shallow. And I'm not saying we're shallow, guys. I'm saying that we definitely have some depth to what we want in women, but they need to catch our eye. And we need to catch their eye.
Yeah, but
I don't think the question is eye-catching. I think the question is when you present it as if that's enough.
Yeah.
No, I don't think the question is eye-catching, but when you present, who's really presenting it as enough? It's kind of like that's the hook.
That's what I'm telling you.
No,
it's a lot. I know a lot of ladies.
I'm a bad bitch.
Yeah, I know a lot of ladies, and that's 90% of their posts are about how fine they think they are.
I don't know women like that. I know women of depth. All my friends have depth and beauty.
And I'm not even saying that they aren't fine. I'm not saying that they are correct. I'm just saying that'll get a man's attention, but that doesn't keep a man because ain't nobody gonna stay with a fine fool.
No, and I can only look at you for so long. If nothing's coming out of your mouth that's worth anything, you got to go.
I need some substance. And I think that's what we're talking about.
Hey, man, we're down to, we got about 20 minutes, man, or so left, a little more than 20 minutes. And Glenn, I think you have to figure out how somebody's going to win a headshot session with yours truly. I think you had some ideas on how you were going to pick the person that might win that. So I just wanted to put that bug in your ear so that it didn't get away from you. And then
our producers are working hard behind the scenes to pick a winner. We will announce a winner at the end of the show. So we will let you know. Shawn, what do they get with you, Shawn? What do they get?
So a headshot session is a 2-look headshot session. A look can be your outfit. A look can be a change in backdrop. Or a location. I do on location headshots. So, like for example, my buddy Curtis Brooks, who drove up from Minneapolis, I want to say, to do headshots with me. He wanted his outside. Outside can be a look, and you get the complete package. It's not like you're going to get an abridged version of what I do. This is a complimentary full headshot session with Evan Marcus imagery.
And if you don't live in Chicago, you have to come to Chicago to get it done. So don't,
I mean, if you want to try me out, we can navigate that, but you probably should be local.
Yeah, but let's look at this as this is a valuable session.
Many
of us.
You had one, Robert. I forgot. You've had a full session with me, haven't you?
Exactly. So we want to talk about, there is a enormous value here with Evan Marcus imagery for those that do win the complimentary service.
Shawn told me he wouldn't do one with me because I'd break the camera. He said he couldn't afford a new camera after doing a session with me, so he won't let me schedule one with him.
When you're in the room, my camera is like Thor's hammer. I can't even lift it. It's And I need Captain America or somebody to come in.
What's the next question? Evan, I'm sorry for this, Evan. I invited you on this show, and I want to apologize for the behavior of these gentlemen.
Evan,
This is normal.
And Evan is in here with 2 of his frat brothers. He is good. Trust me.
This is good. No
problem.
I think we had another question.
Hold on. With that in mind, I want to send this one toward Evan. Because I know you used to write in sports in the sports world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, what's going on with this stuff in the NBA, man? With these fans, and I thought we were over that with the with meta world peace, and that whole debacle. I thought we were kind of over that, but now I guess we're kind of seeing some of that stuff again. What's going on?
Yeah, like you said, you'll think after what happened with Ron Artest, but also remember several years even before that when Vernon Maxwell chained somebody up in the stands. You'll think it would have stopped.
Now see him, I would isolate because I think he was just a thug in general. You know what I'm saying? So doesn't surprise me. He just was
You don't think Artest was? Artest was from where? He's from Bronx.
Well, I think Artest has some psych issues.
Hey, he was a Laker. Leave him alone.
Hey, but he was very open about his psych issues. But go ahead, Evan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you had that, and you might remember what happened at a Bulls game several years ago when Antonio Davis was on the team, and he saw his wife getting into it with somebody. He literally left the game and hopped into the stand to check on her. But you think about all the four major pro sports in the NBA, the way the court and the arenas are set up, they're the closest that the fans and the players are closest together.
They can really interact, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why you see these events. This you saw what happened with John Morant. I mean, you saw what happened with Marcus Smart when he was in college.
Yep, I saw that at Texas Tech.
It's gonna be a thing one day when somebody is gonna be like, "I'm not taking this," and they're gonna hop in the crowd and and whoop somebody in front of everyone. That just let people know, like, hey, this is an ongoing issue, and it's like what you really do when you feel like you can't really do anything, and something happened in the game. You're gonna take that in your own hands, and you have family members. Like, what do you think family or friends, where you yell stuff at the player, what do you think their family and their friends are gonna do? Like, that's somebody they know, so they don't come see you.
And Middle World Peace ran up in the stands and hit the wrong dude.
I know, he beat the hell out of the wrong dude. Actually, he beat the hell out of him. Yeah, but I mean, somebody spit on Trae Young. Just think about that for a minute. That's so key.
Yeah.
You didn't keep it to, oh, you suck, or
you suck and stuff like that. I get that.
White person spin on a black person, that's already time. So
Trae Young's all like 5'11", 150 pounds. You wouldn't have probably done that to dudes like 6'9", 270.
You wouldn't have done that to Rodman.
You would have never done it to Rodman. You would have never done it to Oakley. You wouldn't have done it to Oakley. You wouldn't have done it to any of the Detroit players.
Rodman would have spit on you back first, then
beat you. Yeah, but there's a level of disrespect. There's talking about a player, and you get the right to boo him and talk about him. But when you get racist and when you actually physically, that's assault. Like, he should be charged with assault. You spit on somebody, that's actually assault.
Yeah,
it's all about folk thinking they paid X amount of dollars, and they only see you as entertainment and not a person.
Right.
Talk to you anytime, any way they want.
Yeah, they had to hold Russell Westbrook back. Somebody dumped popcorn on him, which isn't as bad as spitting, but still, they dumped popcorn on him. But he was ready to go up in the stands. Like, security was holding him back. Yeah. And John Morant, somebody told his father they were going to put a nickel in him and watch him dance. That's what one of those wonderful Utah fans.
Oh, I heard that somebody.
I didn't hear that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
His parents were in the stands in Utah, and somebody, and literally, shout out to the Utah fans, because the other fans went and got security when they heard them say this, and they ejected those people. So fans were like, "Look, you stepped way over the line." So they actually told security about it and brought security over to get them ejected.
Wow.
Do you think that?
Like that.
Do you think that COVID, because people have been, do you think that has something to do with it?
Oh, I definitely do. I think people are like this whole revenge travel and getting out an event. I mean, look at Southwest. They've had like 3 or 4 fights. Somebody knocked the flight attendant's teeth out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was a video of it. This woman, she stole on a flight attendant, and then had the nerve to say she touched her first. She hit her first. Like, a flight attendant really hits you, and you think somebody's gonna believe that, and it was videotaped, and and a gentleman had to get in between them. Yeah, I mean, it was ugly. Like, people are getting out of the house and actually are losing their damn minds. That's what's happening. I think COVID.
Why, Jesus?
Hey, we are just under 45 minutes. We're just under 15 minutes. I'm sorry, just under 15 minutes. And I want to make sure I touch this before we get out of here, because it was quite inflammatory. But Glenn, I think you're the one that spotted this. That Dwayne Wade made some statements about not being the leader in his marriage, despite being the man. What did he say?
Yeah, actually, Keisha brought it to our attention that he made a comment about not being the leader in his relationship with Gabrielle Union. He wasn't the head of family or whatever. And I don't know if he said it was equal or just, but he wasn't the head. He basically relinquished it.
Yeah.
Well, I think.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think he understands that. You know what I'm saying? He is the head. He really is. But she's the neck, and the neck tells the head where to go.
Yeah.
Turn left. Turn right. Nod your head.
Where this? Where that? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love me some Gabrielle, though. I don't lie.
I'm not a fan.
Thank you, Robert. You like Gabrielle?
I don't have an issue with her, but I'm not a fan of her. But I just find that interesting, especially when the vast majority of women that you encounter, whether they're, they mean it or not, they tend to speak on the long-term relationship in a way that says they desire a man to be a leader. They want a man's man. I want a man that, can lead, and all these means about, don't expect a woman to follow if you don't know how to lead. I mean, the culture of women tends to support men that step into that role as if they are the leader. Now, the leader doesn't mean that you're abusive or insensitive. I think a good leader. Yeah, I think the smartest leaders know when to give up leadership, to somebody who's stronger than them in a particular area. I grew up in a household where my dad came home and he never saw his money. He forwarded his check over to my mother immediately. He took something out for him, every check, a little piece out for him. But other than that, he gave everything he made to my mother because he trusted her management skills better than his, And so I think that people have leadership twisted in some areas. They don't think that leadership is about followership, but good leadership is also about smart followership too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Go ahead, Evan. Go. No.
Like one of the commentators that said, leadership does mean things to different people. And my household growing up was the same as Shawn just mentioned, but it's also about teamwork and knowing, like, in certain areas you may come up short, or your partner may be better at it, and knowing your shortcomings and knowing your strengths. I think that makes relationships and marriages fine when you know it. You know what you're doing, and they know what you're doing. And we look at take charge and control in the current vernacular of relationships, where it's like people feel like that you're trying to control someone, and you're just like, nah, I'm just telling you how it is and how I see it, and I'm not disrespecting you. Just I look at this thing a certain way, and if that's something that bothers you, we can also have a discussion about that. But for right now, this is how I feel, and that could be looked at as toxic masculinity or some other things. And I think we kind of get wrapped up in, what happened in past relationships and kind of stuff we saw our friends go through, and don't see things, in front of us. And maybe that person really isn't trying to, control you. They're just trying to tell you, like, hey, I saw it opening, I decided to step up, and that really was it.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think we have a job as men, though, to step into our position. I think, as you said it, Evan, and I think, Shawn, you mentioned in terms of coming up in my household, I have both parents. And while my dad was the hard worker, et cetera, my mom was actually the disciplinarian, and they worked as a team. That was back then. We have it a little different today with relationships. But I think if we do a survey, I think our women want us to step up and do the right thing and just, step into our lane.
I don't even think it's the right thing. I think it's what's expected. I mean, that's what comes with being a husband, or being a man in a relationship. There's a leadership component. And be clear, if I got to fight too hard for it, it's not a relationship that I'm staying in.
Right.
Yeah. I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight in my household either, right? I mean, so that's the other thing. There's that toxic that goes on, because if she's a dominant woman, I'm an Aries dominant man, we're going to be going at it. I do the Aries for Glenn. But it's that whole piece. So we just have to. We have to step into our position.
But I think the right relationship where you have weaknesses, she fills those gaps, and that's the relationship that really makes things work. And that's what I see. That's what I see.
I'm single, Glenn. Hey, Glenn, I'm single, and I'm telling you, sometimes I walk through the crib thinking, man, I wish I had somebody to help me with this. Or I wish I had somebody that could do this better than me. You know what I'm saying? I know and was here to take this responsibility on because I feel like I'm deficient in it, and it would be so cool to have a mate that was, better at it than me, that I could lean on to handle it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for all my stubbornness, I know when to defer.
Me too.
I know where
you
my
defer all the time. Then you always defer.
Nobody asks you that. Nobody come to see you, and nobody asks you that. Remember that.
Your whole life is in forbearance.
Mel, let that anesthesia just kick in. Just lay down, take a nap. That's what you need to do. Why don't you do that?
Hey, listen, this
like when I know, but I mean, if you think about it. And speaking for all of us, when we get married, that's going to be the person that completes us in a whole different way. And you complete me sounds corny, but it's real because that completion is what you really need. And once you realize that, and once you get to that point, I'm profound tonight. It must be the rose.
You are.
I'm like honest tonight.
I'm like, oh my God.
You're profound tonight. You only think you're profound.
Yeah, you're not.
Nobody else is getting profound.
People in the crowd if they think I'm profound, please say yes. Thank you.
Yeah, put a 1 in the thread if you think he's profound.
And it might help you get that image, that photo shoot too. So put a yes on there. No, seriously though, when you find that person, you'll know it because of that. They fill in the gaps that you really need, that you don't always say you need. You don't say it out loud, but you know it and you realize it. It's that rhythm. And I talk about that rhythm and moving in that rhythm, and that's real.
I agree, and I desire that. Clearly, I want that T-shirt, man.
So you got 5 yeses in the box, Glenn. So you must have said something, or is Rose talking?
That's proof right there. I got thank you.
Well said. Okay. We can stop it, ladies, in the box there with Glenn.
I'm going to delay.
Robert's getting a little jealous. Robert's getting a little jealous. He usually gets those yeses. So gone back, y'all. Gone back.
I'm feeling some kind of way. I'm
not seeing any of those. So I think Rob, I must be on a delay because I ain't seeing nobody advocating for Glenn in my chat.
Yeah, they all in my chat. I don't know what it is.
Hey man, it's 9:54. The production team hasn't told me exactly where we are. But Glenn, I don't want. Oh, yes, they did at 9:53. Okay, so we have about 4 minutes. So Glenn, I want you to, I think you're going to have Evan pick a number or something. Or
Evan, we need you to pick a number between 1 and 27, and that will be our winner. So any number between 1 and 27.
Chat or say it out loud.
Say it out loud.
So how do people know what their numbers are, though?
Did they pick them?
We've already assigned the numbers based off responses. So the producers have assigned numbers based off responses. So once Evan picks a number, that becomes the winner.
Okay, Keisha is saying 1 through 27, so I'll go with 19.
All right. Who we got, producers?
Drum roll.
And the winner is Melanie Vaughn.
Wow.
Wow.
With her cute, kind self. Melanie is one of my favorite people. I met Melanie through the show, and I've actually worked with Melanie before. And she's amazing. She's just she is somebody that I am grateful the show gave me. I wouldn't have a place with her.
Congratulations.
And she already takes great pictures. So Shawn, it's going to be easy for you.
Real easy because we already have some synergy. And speaking of women that I adore, I want to send. I don't know if she's watching. She's going to try to watch. But I often talk about the buddy I lost in October of 2018. I got to spend a couple of hours with his wife today, unexpectedly, and we got a chance to just sit and talk and rap and tell each other how much we loved each other and yada yada yada. And she was gonna try to watch the show tonight, so I wanted to send a shout out to my own T baby Tracy Hill.
Can we take a minute? Right, I know like we're about to wrap up, but I want to say Bishop Kevin Whitaker, who's one of our frequent guests, he lost his brother. So it's really sad. We just want to say we're thinking about you. We love you, man.
He lost a buddy, right? A really close friend.
No, it was his brother.
Wow.
His younger brother Eric, who I've known Eric since Eric was like 10 years old. So he was like my brother too, and that the loss is deep. So just let him know we're thinking about him. Also, Keisha, our executive producer, lost her cousin, who she was very close to a few weeks ago, and we just want to say, we're thinking about you, and we love you too, Keisha.
Yeah.
Wow.
Our prayers are with you all.
We want to acknowledge that because people who are close to the show really become kind of part of our family.
Yeah. Prayers out to all of them.
Yeah.
Evan, before we get out of here, man, what's going on with you, man? Is there anything going on? You got some books or anything like that we can promote for you, man? What's happening in your world?
Oh, well, I have a book coming out in October, and it's probably something that's not in the purview of a lot of your viewers, but it's called Game Misconduct, Hockey's Toxic Culture and How to Fix It. I've been a longtime fan of the sport. I've been playing it for a few years now, and just started writing about some things that I've noticed over the years, and also we talk about some of the stuff that goes on in the world and relates into the sport in terms of racism, sexism, homophobia, ableism, economics, and how the sport kind of relates to that, and also the issues why you don't see too many folks that look like us, within the sport. Some of that is in our estimation in the book is intentional.
Yeah. I think it's usually intentional. Those things are usually intentional. Hey, man, y'all have been awesome. Evan, I can't thank you enough for accepting our invitation. Don't leave when we check out. Hang around and wrap up with us.
Sure.
Hey, man, Mel and Rob, you guys both travel safely. Get back to us in the same shape you left us.
Yeah. Hey,
appreciate it. Mel, I know you tired. You go to bed. Rob, you go back to the bar.
Yeah, really.
No, I'm going to the bar in the pool area. So
we know you are, Rob. Hey,
you're
Shawn,
meet me there.
Yeah, next week for all you noobs, you can wish my dad a happy birthday because I'll be in Nashville celebrating that, so I won't be on the show next Saturday.
Okay. We won't miss you.
I know. Yes, you will, but I know you won't. But yeah, it's my dad's 70th birthday, so.
Oh wow!
Happy birthday to your dad. Happy birthday to your dad. At least he made a smart decision. You still suspect.
Really? Okay.
You still suspect. There's time for you to get it right, but you still.
I know. He tells me that every week. I know.
Yeah. Hey, man, y'all have been awesome. I appreciate and love and respect each and every one of you. Everybody that's watching, thanks so much for rocking with us. Total Jen has something to say. Come on with it.
No, I was going to say, so your dad had you when he was 20, Graham? Okay, go ahead, Shawn.
I'm 35-ish, Mel. Youngest in charge. That's why it says youngest in charge.
Production team, it's been good. You can pull us out. Hey, y'all, we'll see you next week. Come hang out with us live from the cave. Evan, thanks once more. See you guys next week. Yo,
thanks for hanging out with us. All right, take care.
Camped out at home for COVID? Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.